The Supreme Court has scheduled a 1 hour oral argument taking place this morning in a very important Supreme Court voters' right case. And this is a case that may affect generations of people moving forward. The case is called Louisiana versus Calais. If you're quick, you could probably log on and listen to it live. You can visit the Supreme Court's website and listen to the recording or read the transcript if by the time you log on, the oral argument has been completed. A brief background on this voters' right case is that in 2022, in a different case called Robinson, a group of black voters and the ACLU sued the state of Louisiana, arguing that the way they drew the congressional district, it violated the Voters' Right Act because it suppressed black voters. So majority black populations or district couldn't vote for the candidate that they wanted because it was drawn in a way that they could never successfully vote for the candidate that represented them. So as a result, the federal district judge agreed that it was in violation, and then it was appealed, and the Fifth Circuit then also affirmed that the federal judge was correct, that Louisiana was in violation of the Voters' Right Act and violated specifically Section 2 of the Voters' Right Act, and then failing to create a majority black congressional district because the way they drew it, gerrymandered the district, it was illegal. And so the Fifth Circuit gave the legislature a small window to then correct it by drawing a new map. So what the state of Louisiana did was they did it. They did what the Fifth Circuit said, and they drew a new congressional map. And it's called SB or Senate Bill 8, and it created a second majority black district. Now, in 2024, a group of white voters, I believe 3 to 6 people, went into the middle of Louisiana and filed a lawsuit. And so it was called Philip Calais, and it challenged the new map, saying that, hey, it's unconstitutional. Why? Because it was racial gerrymandering, and it violated the 14th Amendment. So they're actually saying the Voters' Right Act, which corrected the effect of race discrimination, is illegal because it violated the Equal Protection Act, which protected white voters from basically a race-based congressional district. So the Supreme Court issued an emergency stay of the rule of the case and allowed the new map to be used in the 2024 election. And this morning, the Supreme Court heard the arguments on it. And the Supreme Court asked questions of the state AG and the lawyer representing the state of Louisiana. And then they reminded the state of the inconsistency that there's that in their argument, because when they appeared before the Supreme Court last time, they said that, hey, it's illegal to redistrict based on race. But now, coming before the Supreme Court, they're saying, well, we just don't like it because you're restricting our ability to gerrymander, redraw our congressional district based on political affiliation. And the Supreme Court justice pointed that out. And so the argument for the new map is, the issue before the court is that did the Louisiana legislature violate federal law by using race as a factor? And so the state of Louisiana is making a failing argument. Why? Because the questions being asked by the Supreme Court panel is that they're saying that no, you can only use race to correct congressional district and redraw them when it's proven that it was intentional, the race discrimination was intentional, so that black voters could be suppressed. The Supreme Court panel reminded the state of Louisiana that no, that's not true. What our legal precedent and the law says is that we look at the effect of discrimination. So you don't have to prove discrimination, you just look at the effect. Was there the effect of the congressional district resulting in suppression of black voters before you can use race as a factor to redraw the district. And so I think that the justices also reminded that the state of Louisiana that the effect of race-based tests in the past, like poll taxes and literacy tests, resulted in the suppression of black voters. So what if we had that today? If it wasn't outlawed, can the state of Louisiana still make that argument that says, hey, as long as you can't prove that we're doing it because of race, we're just doing it because we wanted extra taxes. We just want to make sure that voters can read, so we have a literacy test, then we can still have this illegal congressional district and practices. And so the Supreme Court justices were kind of reminded the plaintiff in this case that, yeah, that's not going to fly. And I think that the oral argument, you can listen to it yourself, is this Louisiana is kind of ignoring, the plaintiffs are kind of ignoring the test by saying that we're just trying to redraw our district based on politics and political affiliation. Like, we're trying to help Republican win. It doesn't matter about race. We're allowed to do that. And Supreme Court saying, no, you can't do that if the result of it is that you're suppressing black voters. And so one side's masking discrimination or gerrymandering that suppresses black voters by saying, well, we're doing it based on politics, not on race. Also, you can't make us do anything unless and redraw our district to create a new congressional district, SB 8, to allow a second district that's majority black. Why? Because you can't prove that we did it unless you can prove that there was intentional discrimination. But the justices did remind the plaintiff that in the last few decades, most of the black congressmen from Louisiana came from majority black district that were created to correct past discrimination. Okay, back to work.